Dagwet.
Hi, I'm Ben.
And I'm Stefan.
Do you ever think that the drum bit from In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins fits perfectly into the lead up to the chorus of Africa by Toto? I think that all the time.
Michael does think a lot of things on this podcast called
Animating in Threes.
And he never thinks about animation.
Or his name.
So we're an animation podcast where the three of us talk and dissect an animated film or series from an animator's point of view. And this week we are going to be talking about the
Studio Ponoc film, short film anthology known as Modest Heroes, released on Netflix, 2019. Yes, Michael. Question?
You don't have to put your hand up, by the way.
Do you agree that it fits in the lead up?
Look at this, Michael.
Like, think about it. It's like the perfect length.
Do.
Gonna take a lot to drag. It's perfect.
Okay, we'll have to edit it later and see if it does.
We'll see if it works.
Okay,
Someone
good.
would have to do that, right?
We'll do that, alright?
Okay, we'll look at it during the break.
Awesome.
Okay, but before we get into not only the song, but also the Studio Ponoc short films, we are going to be talking about tunes we've tuned into. So, Michael, have you tuned into any tunes?
Michael, have you watched Rocko's Modern Life
I haven't
yet?
finished it yet.
Have you even watched any more
It's
of
like
it?
32 minutes long. It shouldn't take this long.
Okay, have you watched Disenchantment Season 2?
No, I hear it's marginally better than the original, and I'm kind of interested in it now. It's no longer a very strict, fantastical reality. It seems they're kind of branching into, like, the world is kind of segmented into different sects with different histories and different technology.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah, there's one they live in the fantasy, realm,
yeah.
but there's a couple of miles down the road there's a steampunk city and that kind of thing.
Okay.
So that stuff seems kind of interesting.
Does this mean it's going to be like Trolls 2?
Oh, don't you?
I've no idea. I've no frame of reference for that.
Don't bring up that movie.
But it's the same sort of premise. It's like, oh, there's a different world built on a different frame of music or whatever. Except this is like a different
But
technological
you could say
thing.
the same thing about
What a
the
weird
Lego
comparison
movie.
to make.
Yeah, but the Lego movie's awesome.
I guess it also just kind of becomes Futurama in the sense that it's now just a sandbox. You can just do anything now.
Yeah, that's
You can't really
true.
make jokes about fantasy because you can now just go to whatever land or culture you'd like to make jokes about.
I don't think the three central characters of Disenchantment were really that strong, though. Like, Fry, Leela, and Bender, I love seeing in random scenarios. Whereas Bean, Demon Man, and Elfo...
You don't remember Demon
His
Man?
name actually is Elfo, so well done remembering.
Yeah, exactly.
It sounds like you're making fun of it. It sounds like he didn't remember, but he also happened to be correct.
Yeah.
They're not characters I'm that compelled to watch, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's why I still haven't watched the last episode. Of
Nah.
season
Like, they
1.
don't have antics that are really that interesting. Like, Homer's antics, anything he does is priceless. Fry, he's just such an idiot. You love seeing what he does. But Bean is just...
As well as
Yeah.
because
She's
they're
a
too similar. I think they all want to do just bad things and whatever they want instead of being very different characters.
There's not that interesting of a dynamic. I think that's kind of the issue.
Yeah.
Because she's probably one of the more kind of realistically written. She's a little bit more complex than I think what is kind of standard
The thing
in
is,
Matt Groening sitcoms.
when you've got a princess character who doesn't want to be a princess, that's immediately going into an archetype that has been done and done over and over again by every single,
Yeah, Disney,
things.
Pixar.
I do like
Yeah.
I do like the added thing that she's an alcoholic. I think that's kind of funny because there's always an alcoholic
In
in
a Matt
a
Groening
Matt
show.
Groening show. But everyone else, I think, I don't quite take to Eric Andre's character that much. I think Elfo is kind of a one note kind
Yeah,
of
he's definitely one
boring
note.
comedic relief. Whether in Futurama again, Leela was a really confident and capable, but also very deeply flawed.
Yeah.
Which is really funny. Bender's just basically a sociopath with who had a heart kind of under there somewhere. Under that 40% zinc and 40% nickel
40%
and 40%
everything.
iron. And Fry was just a dummy, but
Yeah.
also
Endearing.
I don't know.
A wholehearted dummy.
It was kind of it was an endearing stupidity. Where the Alpho's just he's so stupid that he has no character apart from stupidity. If that makes sense.
So enough about tunes
So
we
it's-
haven't
it's
tuned
okay.
into.
Yeah, exactly. I can't speak much
Stefan.
about it because I haven't seen it.
What have you been watching?
I've watched quite a bit. First off, I finally finished the first season of Miraculous, the Ladybug show.
Oh, that took you ages.
Yeah, I know. But then I sped through the second season because it got so incredible. Like, slight spoilers, but if I don't say any names, you won't know. I was not expecting this to delve into a really complex father and son relationship, which it does so well. Like, I am rooting for this father and son relationship to work, but I know because of the dynamics of the show, it's going to be the hardest thing in the show to make come true. But the animation, of course, looks really nice. There's some quirky new characters, there's some quirky new powers, and it just gets better and better. And it's I'm kind of kicking myself for having taken this long to get past season 1. I also saw, so that's incredible. I also
Wouldn't you say it's miraculous?
Miraculous, simply the best. Yes. Okay, so I also saw Shrek the Fourth.
Shrek Forever After?
Yeah, that one.
Shrek 2 is the best animated comedy of all time.
Oh, it is. It's great.
100%.
Shrek 3, I didn't watch.
There's got to be more better animated comedies.
It's my
than Shrek
favourite
2.
animated comedy.
But it is one of
Okay.
the best climaxes.
I was just thinking that.
Okay.
But Shrek the Fourth, whatever that's called, final chapter, is surprisingly a lot better than I would have thought. Like, I was one of those people who's turned off Shrek from Shrek the Third. Second you introduce Shrek babies, you've lost me.
How many Shreks are there?
4.
Okay.
Oh, plus a new one from Illumination.
Yeah, that's coming
Animation.
out.
Oh,
reboot.
no. What happened to DreamWorks? Oh, that's going to be weird.
Yeah.
But Shrek the Final Chapter is a surprisingly
Shrek Forever After.
forever...
Shrek the Final...
Shrek...
Shrek.
It's not Final Destination.
Okay.
Shrek the Last Jedi.
Okay, the final Shrek film is surprisingly
yet.
a really well-written film about this character who, like, he doesn't know what he's got until it's gone kind of thing. The whole story goes that he thought he saved Fiona from the tower when really it was her who saved him from being an ogre. And it's this really lovely told story. It's got some really nice animation things. It's definitely the best-looking Shrek film, even though the babies are still terrifying. But I think it's quite underrated. I think it's actually really nice. Not as good as number 2.
Shrek 2 is amazing.
Definitely. Shrek 2 is great, but this is definitely the second best in my opinion. I like it better than the first one. I think it's a really good send-off to the series, and I'm ashamed I didn't see it when it came out in like 2011. In terms of something that me and Ben both watched, we watched the finale of Final Space.
We did.
Was it good?
Yes, I liked the finale because it felt like the end of a midpoint.
Then again, that's why I didn't like it, because it felt like the end of a midpoint rather than the end of a season.
Okay.
It definitely isn't as wow as the first season's finale.
Is it going to get cancelled in its 3rd season?
No.
really hope not.
So the creator, Olin Rogers, has been heavily hinting that it's getting a 3rd season. But it was, despite it feeling like a midpoint, it was still a really good episode.
It had some stunning, like, no spoilers at all, but let's just say they have a really big entity and his animation is really good. Like, I love how when a show that has a big entity tries to manage them with all their smaller characters, and this does it really interestingly. I like how they do that.
And also, Gary's mum continues to be an enigma to me, but in a good way.
I'm still not on board with her character.
Oh, okay.
I just think the show, Final Space, does this good thing where it's very brisk. Its action is its first thing. It has its comedy, but a lot of its moments are very quick and to the point. With this particular character, I think that worked to its detriment. Like,
Yeah.
that character did not need to be rushed because you just couldn't. She was too bad a character to have such a quick revival.
Although her best episode, though, was the penultimate episode where her and Nightfall have that awesome fight.
Ah, yeah. But Nightfall's just amazing, so she
But
could
yeah.
save anyone.
But it was a great send-off to the 2nd season. And the 2nd season overall, somehow much better than the first.
Yeah, I love how it's the same sort of aesthetic and atmosphere, and yet it just feels better than the last season. I think, though, it's a very good setup to the next season. And I'm really hoping that that's not in another 5 years, like the break between 1 and 2.
What have I been watching? I saw the DreamWorks animated film Abominable.
What did you think of it?
I thought it was quite good. So the story itself was a generic story, but they pulled it off really well with a lot of heart and humor.
Stop for a second, Michael. Do you know what he's talking about?
Isn't there like a disproportionate amount of like Abominable Snowman
There's
movies?
only been
out?
there's one
most-
last year
one
and one
recently.
this year.
Yeah, that's too many still.
Well, this one was good.
This isn't Smallfoot.
Yeah, the animation and the textures and stuff, amazing.
Really?
I like how
So
warm
amazing,
and dumpling looking like everything is. And by
Yeah.
dumpling like, I mean everything looks squishy and pudgy and just nice and soft.
No,
Like
visually.
the short film of Bow.
Oh, that was a Pixar thing,
What?
though. But yeah, no, visually it is so amazing. Like it is. Yeah, this is a part.
One
like,
of their
my-
best films to date?
Again, because of the story, I wouldn't say that, but it is still a really, really good, solid family film.
Oh, nice.
And I want to say there's one part that happens on it, but
Spoilers?
No, it's not really a spoiler, but I'd rather let people get
Yeah.
there on their own because it's just
Let
a really
the two
great movie.
people who listen to our podcast have it surprised for them.
But yeah, you two.
Us too.
I finished the first season of Star Wars Rebels, and yeah, that was good. I started watching BoJack Horseman again because I'm sad that it's going to be over soon.
So you watch a sad show to get over your sadness of how sad its finale is going to
Yeah,
be.
but it's so sad that it makes me feel better as a person because I'm not as horrible as all these people.
I guess that works.
It makes you feel better.
Okay, that is all we've been watching. Oh, that took a while. So, Stefan, do you want to introduce us into...
Our topic of Modest Heroes.
Yes.
Let's go. So, Modest Heroes is the first volume in a series of short film anthologies called the Ponoc Short Films Theatre, released in 2019. This first film features 3 shorts created by 3 of the animation studio's directors. The films included are Kanini and Kanino, directed by Hiromasa Yonebayashi. Yeah, I did that pretty well.
Oh, yeah, this is going to have a lot of...
Life
Bad.
Ain't Gonna Lose, directed by Yoshiyuki Momosi. And Invisible,
Wait,
directed...
before you say it, just practice it in your head and then say it.
Invisible, directed by Akihiko Yamashita.
So that was worse than if you didn't practice it. I'm sorry, Stefan.
How did practice make it worse?
But yeah, so it's a independent. There isn't much written on this on the films as such because they are relatively new. But I'll talk a bit about their studio, which is Studio Ponoc is who made these obviously is a
Pontiac.
relatively new animation studio in Japan, founded by former lead producer for many of Studio Ghibli's films, Yoshitaki Nishimura. So a lot of the crew are cast and crew from Studio Ghibli after Hayao Miyazaki retired in 2014, went on to found this new studio of Studio Ponoc, which is why a lot of the style of these short films feels very reminiscent of Studio Ghibli. So since their creation in 2015, they have gotten more support from former and current Studio Ghibli animators. Their first feature in 2017, Mary and the Witch's Flower, it received well with both the public and with critics. And the studio's philosophy is kind of like Ghibli's in that they're very much focused towards telling stories that children can very much watch passively or actively, but parents can take more out of. So they really want to do that family feature film that was Studio Ghibli's original roots. And in terms of who they hire as animators, these guys are pretty cool in that although they use their well-established animators and directors to really get that edge on the market, they like investing in new creators and new animators with new styles and thoughts that they can put into their influences. So that's just really nice, really good.
Yeah, that is good.
They
'cause-
didn't really look like Studio Ghibli films.
well,
They
they're not.
look like
they're not Studio Ghibli
They're
films.
They don't?
But the style, the character designs look like Studio Ghibli.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't think I'm that well versed in it because the animation was a lot smoother than I expected. Like, it looked really nice.
Have you seen any Studio Ghibli films?
I have seen...
The front cover of Spirited Away.
I may have seen Spirited Away, but I don't remember. This is stuff I haven't watched in a while. We should do the Miyazaki
Yeah,
films
I'm
one
saving
day.
them for later in the podcast run.
If we ever get popular.
Yeah. A bit about just some of the directors and whatnot. So, the founder of the studio said that, in reference to these short films, that he decided to focus the production of short films with talented creators as opposed to more of the adaptations and a more whole done story. Like, rather than doing one big story, he wanted to tell individual, more independent stories so they could try different techniques and whatnot.
Which is a really good thing because in the animation industry, you tend to get a lot of the same things over and over again. It's just in any creative industry, really. So doing this is something that all studios should be trying to do.
He thought that these films could provide a valuable and meaningful challenge for both the artists and the studios. He quotes, they also provide a chance to find new talent, and not just for directors. For this short film collection, the art directors, animators, and CG artists are all promising young artists. As we move forward, we hope to hire new directors and producers, as well as working with well-established creators. So it really feels like, because they're a new studio, they're still making the foundations for their new works and new productions. So it feels like they're trying to gather new people as well as maintain old people in order to try and find their own voice that's separate from their heritage as being founded from Studio Ghibli. So I think that's really cool. A bit about the directors who made the individual short films in this. Hiromasa Yonibashi, who did the first one, Kanini and Kanino. So he's a former Ghibli director and animator. Best known...
Is it Ghibli or Ghibli? Because you're using both.
I don't know.
Michael, what is it? You're our anime expert. Is it Ghibli or Ghibli?
Studio Ghibli.
Oh, go lie. Well, firstly, you're an idiot. Second, so he's an animator best known for his directorial work on When Marnie Was There.
Oh, yeah. I still need to watch it. It has Daisy Ridley in the English dub.
Yeah. And that is a style that's also a bit different from the usual Ghibli style, which is where you can see that even then they're trying to step out of that Ghibli framework.
Stefan, it's Ghibli.
So his first directorial work was actually The Secret World of Arrietty, which
okay.
I find really funny because
Isn't it Arrietty?
Also... Yeah, Arrietty, sorry. It's also about really microscopic people.
Yeah.
And this short is about microscopic people. So it's obvious that he was inspired by Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. End of story.
Rick Moranis.
Of course. At Studio Ponoc, he directed the company's first theatrical debut, Mary and the Witch's Flower, which looks a lot like Kiki's Delivery Service, which they were worried about, but people didn't seem to mind, and it really did step out of its own.
Look, as long as it's different, it doesn't really matter.
The other two directors who worked on these short films are both Ghibli animators, Ghibli, whatever you want to pronounce it as, and this is actually their first time doing directorial works. Like, usually they just work with doing in-betweens and supervising animations. So this is the first time they're able to do directing. So that's really cool. There's not much else. I think I'll just go into the plot of each one and then we'll go opening thoughts. So the first short story, which is Kanini and Kanino, is a fairy tale-like story about two humanoid crab siblings who live on the riverbed of a stream and are awaiting the time that their pregnant mother returns from giving birth. After their father is swept away by water, I guess, the two kids build the courage to explore the unknown waters and terrain to find him. They battle off a fish, save their father, and return home to their mother. The end.
Do you know how long it took him to write that?
It did take me quite a while.
Wait, the summary or the entire sheet?
That summary.
That one sentence summary of what happened in a film that you already saw. It's just Pippi Longstockings.
Yeah, I never write.
They fell out of a boat.
I literally never write down the summaries. I always make it up on the top of my head.
Anyhow, the second one, Life Ain't Gonna Lose, is a more grounded, realistic tale of a young boy with a lethal allergy to eggs. And
who'd ever heard of such a thing?
Is it a thing, actually?
It is a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It would be. Anyhow, so it revolves around that and his daily life. The short film follows his mother's struggles to protect the boy from various foods while still trying to maintain a normal household life. The film ends with Shun, the boy, proclaiming that he'll be able to eat eggs one day and be cured of his sickness.
Are eggs a big thing in Japan? Are they like a dietary staple?
Aren't they like a big thing in almost all culture?
Yeah, most cultures have eggs.
No, but like eggs specifically? Because it seems to be just eggs by themselves.
Well, the things, a lot of products do have eggs in it, so
Like
they have
kids
to be
eating
careful.
eggs,
But,
just biting into it like it's an apple.
what are you talking about, Michael?
The third short story is called Invisible, and it's about an invisible office worker.
I liked that
whose
one.
traits make him both invisible to others and weightless to the gravity and environment around him.
So you could say this story is less grounded.
Can you actually insert a laugh track there?
If I can find one. Down on himself, he's thrust into a situation where his traits allow him to become a hero, saving a baby whom finally sees the man. And that was all those short films. So what's
What are
everyone's
your closing thoughts?
No, what's everyone's opening thoughts on these?
My opening thoughts? Can we delete the Pippi Longstocking episode?
What?
That's not an opening thought, man.
By the time this goes out, We will have released the Pippi Longstocking episode a week ago.
I know. Can we delete?
No,
No,
it's great.
it's a great episode.
People need to know which Billy Joel album is the best one.
Okay, but my opening thoughts. These 3 short films are fantastic pieces of animation. Not only do they differ in style, but also like in visual aesthetic style, but also differ in storytelling. And yeah, I'm super glad I got to watch it now. And thank you for picking this, Stefan, because they are really, really good for reasons we'll get into soon. Or not.
Or not, whichever. Maybe
Who
we'll just
knows?
talk about Billy Joel some more.
I'm okay with that.
What about you, Ben?
I
Yes,
just
Ben.
said it!
Other Ben, Ben 2.
Oh, Ben. Thanks, Ben 3.
The opening thoughts!
I'm still thinking about this.
Okay, Stefan, what are your opening thoughts?
My opening thoughts.
Well, Ben.
Oh my goodness. I think this format is one that should be used in a lot more studios in order to showcase more creative ideas and independent storytelling. Like, I thought it's
definitely.
really interesting seeing how one studio can produce 3 very different styles, both in their stories and their aesthetic, while still seeming quite unified. Like, how they unified this was in the idea of having a theme of modest heroes, whether that means the small heroes or the invisible hero. Either way, they're just normal people trying to live their lives and how they get through it. And
You know what? I keep forgetting it's called Modest Heroes, so when you just explained that, my mind just did a little implosion.
Oh, sorry.
I can't believe I didn't put that together. I'm an idiot.
No, that's why it's called Modest Heroes.
It's the title of the film.
I know, but I keep forgetting.
I think it's a beautiful, beautiful collection. The matte paintings, as we'll talk about, are just gorgeous. Some of the animation techniques they've done are just beautiful. It's got a remnant of Studio Ghibli's let's make nature look beautiful, and it does that incredibly. The fact that these guys have worked with pretty much little to no equipment and have had to build their studio from the ground up and
Yeah,
can
they had to
produce-
build the walls and the insulation.
maybe
They had to build the computers themselves. They had to go to the computer market.
look, it's a good film, all right.
They had to smelt the metal themselves.
Okay, Michael.
How about you,
now do you
Michael?
have your opening
They had
thoughts?
to engender carbon out of thin air.
Do you have your opening thoughts about the film?
I
Michael?
thought this had slightly more to say about love and life and heroism than most of Pippi Longstockings. Yes.
Can we not compare this to Pippi Longstocking?
Okay, no.
I
what-
think there's a lot of apt comparisons you can make. I really liked it. I thought it was, again, like when we kind of started the podcast, I was under kind of the supposition that a lot of anime was aesthetically similar.
Well, you're wrong.
A little bit, yeah. This one was, a lot of it is just like, I'm looking at a poster that Seven has of My Hero Academia. I thought all anime was just that. Just angry-looking people with different coloured hair, and sometimes they have 2 colours in their hair. And sometimes you have an eagle for a face, like that guy. I thought everything was just that, but no, you watch kind of this stuff, and it's a lot, there's movement. People move, and people move fluidly, and it's really kind of like, they don't have to have this kind of chaotic, over-the-top sensibility to it. They can be subdued and quiet and somber and introspective. And that's what these are, and I really, really enjoyed it. I think my favourite short was probably the Invisible Man one, just because I like the animation in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're all, it's nice to see an anthology that's not, like, it has a vague kind of broader, or like a really broad overarching theme.
Of Modest Heroes, which I completely missed
Of
out
Modest
on.
Heroes, but Ben forgot the title. Yeah, having a theme so broad really gives you a lot of leeway with the stories you can tell, and it's, really interesting to see how different or disparate
story
each
is,
of those stories are. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, it's fluid and somber, and in that way that the music video for Piano Man is. It's got the brief spark of light at the end of a long, miserable
no more
tunnel.
Pippi Longstocking, no more Billy Joel.
No, it's
You've
fine.
already eliminated 99% of
All of my
dialogue.
talking points, yeah.
Okay,
I just sit in silence humming Piano Man to myself.
Oh my goodness.
let's talk about the first
let's
short
start about
called
the first one.
Kanino and
Kanino and
Kanini.
The crab people.
Kanini. The little crab people.
Dr. Zoidberg.
We don't really need to talk about the plot, just really things we like. So does anyone want to start off?
Okay, so throughout the entire thing, I think there were only 2 3D assets, which were the water, because it looked very generated.
That just felt like a flat out like composite
yeah,
of
definitely.
like a stream, yeah.
Yeah, so what they would have done for that is they would have recreated those shots in 3D and only grabbed the water information and put it on top of
With a
the mats.
transparency.
Yeah, and put that on a mat. Yeah, and the salmon
Yeah.
as well. That was definitely a 3D.
But that looked great.
That was one
Yes.
evil-looking salmon.
It looks so good though. It looks so tasty.
And it also, but at the same time, looks so
salmon.
crusty and evil at the same time.
No, I want to eat
Especially
that
the eyes moving, that they just seemed like with the sound design behind it, it was very crusty and like, I'm an evil, grizzled old fish and I'm gonna eat you.
Now, just to put it into perspective,
Why
this
do you sound like
this
a
film
Cockney?
had no dialogue, so but the fish does not say what Ben just said.
No, that's the
sorry.
direct dialogue taken from the script.
Oh, I'm an evil fish.
Why does he sound like a Charles Dickens villain?
This is actually a secret adaptation of one of Charles Dickens' lost.
Pretty sure it's not.
How
Go
do you
pinch
know?
the bobbly wobblies from his pocket, me rabbly scallions.
Okay, so
Oh, I got a patch on my trousers. That's a polka dot pattern.
pretty much this film didn't need subtitles.
No, and I think that is something, because that's something they did say in their interviews that they really wanted to achieve. They really had to focus on the characters' expressions and their gestures just to tell the story.
Which is something Stefan and I know a bit about with our short film, Charlie's Ballad, available on YouTube.
Can we just review your film Charlie's Ballad?
No.
'Cause no one has any frame of reference for what you're talking
They
about.
can look it up, it's on YouTube.
Well, we can link it in the podcast.
No.
No, not at all.
Back to Kanini and Kanino.
How they tell... I love any film that can tell... Any animation, just so Michael doesn't interject with something stupid, that can tell a story without words. Because I think that's really... That really is a credit to its animation. And in this, I love the two siblings, their movements, and everything about them is gorgeously done. My favorite
Oh, so
shot
good.
of the film is when the little girl is crying over the fact that her father and mother are now gone. And as she's crying, she looks up at her brother, and the brother's just standing up crying, like, quietly to himself. And she just stops her crying and stands up next to him. You don't need any words for that. You can immediately tell that she's trying to put on a brave face like him as well. And it's really good.
I wish it had less dialogue. I don't even think you need the names.
Yeah, honestly, it didn't.
Yeah, you didn't really. It could have just been like, oh,
Like Pingu.
yeah.
Although I'm Pingu,
Oh,
are they
yeah.
speaking Swedish?
Yeah, they're speaking
Can we establish
Swedish.
this? Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's actually
Okay.
there's actually dialogue, but they just didn't bother translating any of it.
Something I really did like and really draw to me is most of the stream was 3D assets, as we said, but the individual water palettes themselves, when the siblings traverse above the water level, are 2D, and it really puts into scale how small these little creatures are when you see the big drops falling on their face and dripping down. Like, that's really good animation, how the drops, like, stick to their face and then slowly, like, seep down. It's really interesting.
Actually, that's something I want to touch on was immediately when you watch the film, it sets what type of world this is. It just shows this panning shot of a babbling a brook, right? A babbling, just a little creek, and then it just dives in, and then you see all this water life come alive, and then you see the little people and how they interact with everything. And I thought that was like a really effective way to set the world that this short film is set in.
Yeah, the best thing about short films is that you have to be quick with everything, and this
But if you're
particular
too
one-
quick, it's not good. So there's a very fine line there.
Yeah, and this one I think captures it clearly. You get that these little creatures are living under the water and they have to survive against the elements that are way bigger than them.
Also, I didn't get that they were crab people. I just thought they were people who murdered crabs to get their claws.
I mean, you could see it as that too.
Is it one of the things when, like, in the logic of that film, they are crabs? That makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
Yes. Which, when Stefan pointed that out, I was like, oh my god.
That's why they're little. That's why they almost got trampled by the tanuki.
And that's why they can breathe in water and in air.
Were they tanuki or were they red pandas? What were those things?
I don't know.
Also, this film is definitely, like, out of all the three, this is the most Ghibli
Yeah, it
aesthetically.
is. 100%.
Yeah, because, when I watched it, I was like, oh my god, this just does look like
This
a
is the
Ghibli
most
film.
This is the most Ghibli film I've ever seen.
Well, this is
How
this,
sublime.
This was directed by the guy who did actually do directorial works for Ghibli. Most of the others did just the in-between animations. and
Ghibli!
whatnot.
Also, I think the only noticeable animation that I didn't like were the rigged underwater leaves.
They were really fluidly done, though. I didn't mind them.
But they were so fluidly done, it didn't look organic.
I didn't mind those.
Okay, yeah,
But that's just a personal thing, though.
It
If
was
you
weird.
liked
It was
that's
weird in
fine.
the way the weird composited water was odd. Like, it doesn't really fit the aesthetic, but it's stylized enough where, you know, it looks vaguely fantastical and fits in that reality.
I did like how they did that, though, because you could see the really nice matte paintings moving, and I
Yeah.
like those matte paintings. So any way I can see more of the matte paintings is a good thing. And the matte paintings, I can't stress enough, the matte paintings in this were beautiful. Like,
They're always beautiful. All Japanese animation has the best matte painting.
it's gorgeous. It's so good. Michael, any animation notes for this first short?
No, I just really liked it.
Yeah, it was charming.
Yeah, I think I like the other ones more because I tend to connect more to
More realistic
yeah.
scenarios.
Anyway, that's just me. I like the more realistic scenarios, but or fantasy as a way to explore reality.
Yeah.
In the sense that I really like the third one because it's a weird, obviously a fantastical premise, but it's to explore someone's place within a grounded, realistic
Yeah,
world.
we'll
And
get to that.
I tend to like those more.
Even though he wasn't grounded.
Oh, he's used that
No, he
joke
needed to-
again.
no.
Cyclical story joking.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
Ugh.
The color palette in this first one I really loved.
I especially like how they did Purple Lightning, which comes back in the third short as well.
Yeah,
'Cause,
Purple Lightning looks so
Yeah.
good. Who'd have known?
like, that's not something that people do. And, like, pushing that purple into the blues and the greens just looks so nice. And, yeah, it's just something very different from anything else that anyone else has done.
Anything else about this first one? We'll go on to the next one if not.
Oh, the character designs were...
Adorable.
Yeah, super cute and adorable. Even the father, this tough, grizzled warrior, he was adorable.
He looked like such an adorable man. With his cute little beard, it was great.
He was like a better version of Pippi Longstocking's dad.
He didn't look anything like Pippi Longstocking's dad. Stop referring to Pippi Longstocking. It's got nothing to do with this film.
Pippi Longstocking, the most violent pirate in the Pacific.
No, but I can't stress enough. Like, we can talk about it, but I can't stress enough how beautiful this first one looks. Like, it is so gorgeous.
Again, you should be watching this.
Yeah, don't listen to us talk about it. We suck.
Especially me with my horrible cyclical jokes about groundedness.
Anyhow, the next one. So, what was the next one again? Oh, Life Ain't Gonna Lose, the egg one. So, Ben, you start us off. What stuff did you like about this one?
Okay, I really, really adored the style. So for me, it kind of reminded me of like a graphic novel style. And like the mother's struggles with like having to deal with this extra problem in her son's life. To me, it's like such a great story to narrow in on.
It's also something that isn't told in films and animation. Like, it's such a specific thing that a lot of people have to deal with, but it's never really made a public thing to see in a film.
And if it is, a lot of the time it's in a comedic sense as well.
Yeah.
And this is a very serious take on that.
Yeah, where the mother is literally petrified every single time this boy has to eat something.
And yeah, it's a struggle that a lot of people have to deal with. Yet it's just not talked about all that often, especially in Australia, I would say, because I've never known anyone who's had any sort of thing like that.
Oh, peanut allergies. Not allergies.
Yeah, peanut allergies is a very big
Okay,
one.
well,
in
for
Australia.
me personally, I haven't really gone into that well because no one I know is really allergic to anything to that degree or anything. So
Yeah.
No, it's a story that it's kind of odd because you wouldn't necessarily think that animation would help this kind of thing. Like it doesn't. I don't think it utilizes the medium to its fullest extent. If that makes sense, it's not something that needed to be animated. I don't think, or doesn't benefit completely from
I think
animation initially.
yeah.
Initially, as in conceptually. But when you get into it, I think there's a weird kind of warmth to it.
Yeah, very much so.
There's this real kind of familial closeness and comfort from it.
It really is a way that you can really... It's easy to draw empathy to these characters because you see them as these cute cartoon characters and yet they have these real life struggles.
And it makes it more hard hitting when kind of reality sets in later on, and that kid gets like those really kind of like unsightly, rashes or all over his body. And it's that
sores.
moment when like a really hard dose of kind of grisly reality sets in for a second and kind of invades this really wholesome, cuddly looking world. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I liked this one.
Something I really loved in this one is how all the lines were coloured. Like, there's no
Yes!
black lines.
That was nice.
It
Yeah,
had
I
a
noticed
nice-
that
It's
too.
like a storybook.
Yeah, nice soft pastel aesthetic. And the part Michael mentioned where the boy comes up with the rashes at the end and runs down the stairs, everything distorts and you
Yeah.
can see like the textures bleeding on the backgrounds.
Yeah, and all the line work got even rougher than before as
Yeah,
well.
and you can really feel that frantic energy of him running down these apartment stairs trying to get to the bottom. And
that part reminds me of Garden of Words.
oh, it did. He was going to jump off the cliff like Michael thought in Garden of
I
Words.
thought he was going to launch himself off that fire escape.
No, but it's...
But no, he's like, oh, my shoes. I don't know. What was that movie about?
Oh my goodness. Michael, do you remember any film for more than 2 seconds?
Yeah, well, shoes were a metaphor for having shoes.
That's not a metaphor, it's a practicality. What else did I really like? One of my favourite scenes in this is, you noticed it too, where the mother attends like this dancing school and it has rotoscoped actions
Yes.
for the dance movements. But they're distorted in a way that it still looks cartoony and energetic.
The only shot that it looked rotoscoped to me was when it was from far away, where you couldn't see like the anime features and stuff.
Yeah.
But when you got up close, you could definitely tell they stylized it more. But yeah, that was a really great scene. Great animation, and it has a really good emotional climax to that little section of the film.
Where the boy in the background while the mum's doing this final exam dance, he tries to eat this cookie, and at the corner of his eye she sees him and runs straight towards him and snatches it from him.
Yeah, she's a great mum.
She is such a good mum. But this mum is like the exact opposite from the mum in Next Gen.
Yep.
Another thing I really liked, in all the gesture was great, but I loved Shun's friend, this little Shun's friend, this little girl.
Oh, she was so
Her
adorable.
actions
Goodbye.
where she's swinging on this this pole outside the school, like this little.
I
she
love
swings
that
on
when
it.
they go upside down.
Yeah. That looks so realistic and endearing, and like how a child would do it.
That's how kids. You always do that as a kid. Like when you lean back on those bars and like you flip around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, all the kids look so pudgy. It was amazing.
It'd have to be
how kids look.
rotoscoped because
I
that
know,
looks
but-
so good.
In a lot of like anime that I've seen, or that Stefan showed
Yeah,
me, a
they're
lot of the
cleaned.
kids are very skinny.
Or have
These
e-
kids
or
were
have-
like very pudgy and realistic.
Yeah, or have eagle heads.
Or eagle heads, as Michael's pointed
Well, that guy
out.
that looks like a rock. What's his deal?
He's a rock! Like, stop comparing every anime to My Hero Academia.
Well, look, I can compare it to One Punch Man. That guy just looks like Caillou.
Oh yeah, there's a 3D bird in it.
Yeah, there's the one 3D asset in the film is this dead bird the Shun looks at, and he's just like, oh, that's a dead bird, and everyone else in the audience is like, heck, look at that 3D bird. It's one
Yeah.
darn good 3D bird.
The line work on it was good, but you can still definitely notice it was 3D.
When it shifts in its perspective,
Yeah.
you can tell it's 3D, but it also begs the question why they chose that particular asset to be 3D.
Do you know what I think? There's just one guy who was like, I really miss 3D modeling. I don't want to do 2D anime. Okay, you can just do this one thing. Yes.
And he was like, yes, I'm so happy, I won't let you guys down.
So what is this one thing? A dead bird.
Does it move? No.
Then why are we? No.
Look, we're just doing this so you can get a bit of extra work before we fire you.
Oh no, now it's sad.
We ground into a paste used to feed the other animators.
Oh my goodness. Michael, no.
That's how they treat animators.
I really like the gesture where the little girl hugs Shun. Like, that hug just looks so warm and just nice. Like, some of the interaction stuff between the characters in this particular short were really well done. Like, everything, as you said, feels really realistic, grounded, but pudgy and soft. And softer touch, so it's really nice.
Also, the food animation was good.
Yeah, animes always do food
I was
beautifully.
gonna say that's like
Always, I bet I can find one anime with terrible looking food.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Oh no, he's
I
gonna
feel
actually
like
find it.
I feel like every time we talk about anime, we always mention food somewhere.
Well, that's because they do food well.
They're just really good at animating food.
It's nice. It's like how claymation makes food look really good.
Oh, definitely. I would so have some moon
I don't really like
cheese.
cheese, but the cheese in Wallace and Gromit looks amazing.
Any other notes for this short?
No, really liked it.
Awesome.
Yep. Next.
Next
What was
is
this one about shoes?
No, this is Invisible.
Invisible. This is one you
Oh,
like.
that's what I really
you
like.
can
So you can
talk
start
about it.
off.
Invisible is about a little.
We've already said the plot.
Oh, I have nothing else to say. I really liked Invisible. It seemed like a concise visual metaphor for literally feeling invisible in life and having people basically look through you at every opportunity and being kind of socially
Ignored?
Yeah,
The,
exactly.
the one thing I didn't like about it is that no one noticed just clothes.
That was the point, though.
I know, but
Well, no, if it would be the opposite of the metaphor if everyone went, "Ah, look at those clothes!
I feel like if you did like slightly
Jesus Christ!"
if you did slightly translucent clothes, I feel like it would have been a better metaphor. But the fact that like the audience when they're first watching it just see, oh, there's clothes walking about.
Could you imagine if every character in the film had Michael's reaction? Like every single character looked up and go, "Oh, it's close!"
Isn't
Ah,
it-
shit! Everyone's just running into the church.
But that's
Ah.
a plot of The Invisible Man, isn't it?
Guess so.
But if he was just naked the whole time, then I mean, it would be easier on the animators. You'd have no idea what was happening because it would just be 20 minutes.
Yeah,
of
I know.
matte paintings.
All I'm saying is, I think they could have just reworked it a little bit just to try to solve that problem. Because for me, that's just
I think that
Yeah.
doesn't.
I
Really
thought it was
matter,
really
though,
nice.
because the metaphor is.
yeah, the
very
metaphor and all that, and the themes connected to it are definitely really good. But just from a personal thing
clear.
for me,
My problem is that setup does not necessarily match to that climax. Like
No, it doesn't.
the climax seems complete. Like the blind man seeing him, perfect.
That's really
the
good.
part afterwards doesn't make sense. It's just like he looks at a distance. You don't even see anything, but somehow he sees a pram falling off a cliff.
Yeah,
wait,
like
that was a blind man?
Yeah, it was. He had a guide dog.
Oh my god! Again, I watched this last night when I was tired. I'm sorry.
Remember, the title was called Modest Heroes, Ben.
I thought it was another invisible person.
Oh no, he was blind. That's why he had glasses.
I
The-
thought,
the
but you
blind
never
glasses.
see his actual face though.
That's the whole metaphor. It's saying that he's like him because people don't see him because they just see him as a blind man, so to speak. See, it's clever.
I'm not on my A game today. Yep.
Ben, don't go.
Where's he going? Alright, that means we have to talk now.
And steal the microphone while he's gone.
So, Michael, what did you think of
Actually,
Billy
can we-
Joel's The Stranger?
Actually, can we talk about your shitty soundproofing?
Okay, talk about...
Because you have one circular porthole window.
And you put a rectangular pillow
You
there.
just shoved a pillow into it.
Well, you're making me sound like I did it. You're the one who did it.
Ben told me to do it. He thought it would be good soundproofing.
Not good soundproofing.
Your soundproofing suggestion was just to close the blinds.
I think that would have worked. It worked, didn't it? We're not hearing much noise.
This isn't even the side of the house that faces the street.
Yeah, but there's some cars going up the driveway over there.
Also, you said don't put the rectangular pillow in the circular window. Use the triangular pillow.
Yeah,
that
the
would fit just as well.
No, because it bends better, so it would have worked a bit better.
I was gonna say, I also just googled it, and someone actually did a 47-second mashup of the chorus of Africa and In the Air Tonight.
Okay.
Let's have a listen. I hope this is exactly what I thought it would be, which is just putting the drum beat. You know where I think it should go, right?
Okay, that does
it
work.
works.
Anyway, what are we talking about? Studio Goodbye?
Oh my goodness, no, Studio Ponoc.
I
Invisible.
was gonna say I didn't feel like in terms of the metaphor that the trajectory led to where I thought it was gonna go.
Yeah.
Because it starts off as like, it's a sound kind of metaphor about being ignored socially and feeling invisible and having that reflected by the fact that he's literally invisible. But it ends with him trying to feel like a hero. I'm not sure if that means does he want to feel like he matters to somebody or feels like he made a difference.
Yeah, that's what I didn't understand. I did like the very end where the baby is the first one who's not blind who can see him.
Yeah.
But
Excuse me, but the dog sees him, and the dog can see.
Yeah, but the
okay,
dog...
first person, not dog.
Yeah, because I feel like some lonely people might feel like animals are the only ones that really give them attention or comfort.
Yeah.
And it's kind of reflected that way. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but yeah. So it didn't go the way I expected in terms. It didn't really bring that metaphor to me kind of full circle as I thought it would. But because it's a weirdly kind of action-oriented climax for something that started off quite somber.
Yeah. There's a lot
Although-
of flying.
Yeah.
Although the part where he does start to float was really, really well done.
Oh yeah, that's all beautiful.
I love the escalation where he loses his fire
Yeah.
extinguisher, which was weighing him down, and then he
Then
tries to reach to it, and then he starts being lifted up, and it's just him
He
trying
hits
to.
against the
Yeah.
building.
Yeah, it's
and then-
him trying to systematically find out a way to weigh himself down again to get him back
Although
to.
I feel like he would have easily grabbed onto his motorbike scooter thing.
Yeah.
Is that
And then he just literally grabs onto it, and then he just slips. Yeah, he's able to grab a hot air balloon thingy.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
That's a metaphor for him kind of trying to.
Yeah,
Flame,
I
not-
get the metaphors.
I
and
thought
stuff.
it turned into
It's just this
waking
little
life.
logic inconsistency.
Oh yeah, it's waking live. He tries to open the car, but he flies into the sky.
Yeah.
It's all a dream.
It's all a dream. And then at the end, he
Something
tries
that was-
to open the car again, but he also flies into the sky.
Something that, of course, would have been really difficult, and the director thought was, which is that he was an invisible character, so you didn't actually draw his face, but you had to, in the roughs, have his face there. And apparently how he drew him like a Westerner face.
Yeah, it was like Homer Simpson.
No, I didn't know.
Oh, not
Of-
Homer
of-
Simpson.
I'm not saying I didn't notice. Of course I didn't, because
No,
it was
you
invisible.
can't see, but that's what he pictured whenever he drew this guy's face.
I really liked the bit when it was raining.
Yeah, and like all the rain was tracked
and it,
onto
yeah,
his face.
it kind of infers the form of his face.
Yeah.
Was
Except-
that digital?
I don't know, maybe.
I think
Well, like digital as in animation, yeah, but,
Yeah, but was
whether
it a-
it's
was-
CG, I
Yeah,
don't know.
was it a
okay.
3D like mapping thing? Because it looked too perfect.
I think it could have been done, 2D wise.
Look, these guys are pretty skilled.
Yeah, I'm not trying. Yeah, like all the fabric animation with the wind is amazing.
Something Ben noticed is that
He was
You say.
invisible.
Which one?
the hair.
Oh yeah. So the entire time it was raining, there wasn't any rain in the hair, which
In the
annoyed.
Invisible Man's head.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
could
it was just
assume
a bald.
You could assume
Yeah,
he
it
was
was-
bald.
But
No,
even if it was bald, there would still
there'd be
s-
rain pals, wouldn't
Yeah,
there? There was
just like on
nothing.
his face.
There was only rain on his face. and
Wasn't he
then-
wearing a hat?
No, because there wasn't.
either
Unless
way-
the hat was invisible. No.
Good point.
Something I did like about this style is it had that very rare thing which not many studios can pull off well, where it has really rough line work, but it's done in a way where it looks super neat and characterized. Like, if you look at the lines, they're all sketch-like, and it carries that rough energy to it, and yet it looks so clean when it moves. Like, I don't know many Western studios who work in the 2D field that can really achieve that to that level, that quality.
Studio Lancashire, who is one of the people who did one of the Love, Death and Robots things, and also doing that new Genji Primal series.
Yeah, they did pretty well.
It's
for that.
not as refined and as smooth as this, but they can still do like a good
rough style.
Yes.
Yeah, you have a point there. No, but I thought this one was really good. I especially, as Michael said, really loved the fabric animation and how it made him look so skinny. How the fabrics would just wave uncontrollably.
It actually, to me, kind of seemed like, because he was so weightless, that sometimes the fabric could kind of move through him a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was really well done. Also, sorry, when he floated down on the pickaxe, it really reminds me of like underwater physics, just that like how slowly he floated down. And I thought that was like a really cool touch. Like if they did that intentionally, that would have been like something that they would have referenced and been informed by.
Anything else on this, Michael?
No, I really liked this one. It was my favorite of the three.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, my favorite shot is when the camera moved. Like you just see the rain, like during the truck race, you see the rain, and then you see his glasses come forward, and then it goes through his body.
Yeah.
That was a
I like that
great
too.
shot. And yeah, again, it has all that like fabric movement with the rain and the wind and the billowing truck.
Some of
And, yeah,
these
it was
parallax perspectives done in all these short films with its the parallax, that what do you
Two
call
different
it?
planes
The
and
matting.
backgrounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is done
Multiplaning.
really well, and yeah, the multiplaning is done really creatively in all these films. And in certain shots where you think, wow, that's a stunning just little shot there where it grabs your attention. It's really nice. What is this thing you want to show us?
Yeah, bad anime food.
What the hell is that?
Exactly! I found some bad anime food to show Stefan.
It's a fish sandwich, but the fish are literally fish.
And the sandwiches,
Outside of the sandwich.
sandwiches are like cubes. They're like sponges.
Okay, that isn't nice anime food.
Yeah,
To be
proved
fair,
it
this-
wrong.
This doesn't look like a nice anime either.
I never said it had to be a nice anime.
I guess you're right.
Hey.
Anyhow, closing thoughts on all three. Ben, start us off. Good job, Ben.
No, they're just everything I've said before. They're really, really great short anime films, and yeah, again they show off a range of styles and different colors, and they're cohesive yet they're different at the same time.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a great way to show what your studio can do. And it's 100% worth watching this 53 minutes worth of animation.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a great format, as Ben said. Wonderful animation showcases with charming little stories. I really hope they do more of these because they get the support necessary to make these because they are just really pretty and good to really take in. You, Michael?
No, I thought they were wonderful little concise short films. Yeah, I just really like the animation. I like the metaphors. My favorite ones are the ones that connect more to reality or use fantasy to explore
Realistic,
more realistic or grounded problems. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. For someone like me that doesn't really watch much anime, I really recommend giving this one a shot. Even if you're not that well versed in Eastern animation, I think everybody can get something out of this because it explores concepts that are kind of transcend culture. Like everyone can feel invisible socially, or everyone can have anxieties to deal with.
Everyone
parenting.
can be a little humanoid crab
Everyone
thing.
can be a little humanoid crab monster, just like those.
I love being a crab monster.
Yeah, just sometimes. Yeah.
I got my crab hands. Crab snap.
Why do all your characters sound like an old man? and
All
just-
your characters are just clamps from Futurama.
Look, it's called consistency within a single episode, okay?
I
Consistency.
guess it's consistency. Anyhow, that's it. What are we doing next week, Ben?
Also, where can you find
It's
us?
Michael.
What are we doing next week, Ben 2?
I don't know, Ben 1.
I'm Ben 3.
You're Ben 1. Ben is Ben 3.
Wait, can I be B1, B2, B3, and we are bananas and pajamas?
There was only
There's
two
only two
bananas, though.
Can I
But
be
we
Mis-
can be 3 bananas
Can I be
now.
Mr. Rat? Whatever his name. Is his name Mr. Rat? I
Uh,
used to run the grocery store.
yeah, what was his name?
He used to say
I'm a rat. I'm a very something rat.
Maybe we
clever?
should do the 3D animated series for Bananas and Pajamas next week.
Ben 2, what are we doing next week?
No, I used to like when they were just elderly men in suits.
Ugh,
Okay, what are we doing next week?
I haven't decided.
that's a very good option.
I have an idea of what I want to do, but
What is-
I'll leave it up to everybody. We're not doing Oliver and Company.
Oh, thank goodness. Although that is a good film.
Ben, where can you find us?
If you want to contact us, you can email us at animate3pod@gmail.com, and we're also on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. And you can listen to us, as you have been, on any type of podcasting app available except for Google Podcasts. I said for the past 2 months that I'm going to try to do that again, but I haven't. So,
It's a running gag.
I haven't.
Sorry to disappoint two of you,
yeah.
Ben and Stefan.
B1 and B2.
B1 and B2.
Aren't you B3?
I don't know.
I want to be Mr. Rat. Or one of the teddy bears. There were 3, weren't there?
I don't know.
There was Morgan.
Morgan.
It was Morgan. And
Morgan
there
was the name of a teddy bear?
There was Lulu.
Oh, Lulu does sound like one of those names.
And then there was Steve.
Steve, perfect.
There was...
Goodbye, Steve.
Goodbye.